blah 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 blah. This incredible channeled message I got last night, or whatever you want to call it. I have trinkets for you. Oh my god, it's been a while since I made that voice or that laugh. I want to edit it out, but I know that it's comedy gold or comedy purple and orange. Comedy orange. Oh. I'm gonna do a reading on today is when more people know that they are not crazy, then people labeling other people as crazy, we will know we have gotten somewhere. When more people know that they are not crazy, there's one more in here. When more people know that they're not crazy, that was 2. Then people who try to say that others are crazy, then we know. Whoa, then we know we've gotten somewhere. Oh. I wasn't expecting these cards, but that's what's up. We got nettle, protection, and strength. I was gonna say like, oh, nettle, salad fingers, and I think I saw someone like rubbing it on their knee to help their knee with the circulation or something. But salad fingers. Oh, Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of this deck that I'm just bending. How I police myself during my readings. So, nettle, healing, protection, purification. My initial thought is like, what protection from what? Because protection comes out twice. But then I think, you know, sometimes the protection is the not knowing or the knowing at a certain time. And because everyone's protection, some of you gonna know what reel I'm referencing with that. But oh, what are we protected from? It's gonna be different for everybody. One and strength. So my point was just that I can ask the question to myself, I can wonder, but taking that question to the cards, you have to follow your intuition. And my intuition says, you don't need it. You don't need to know what the protection is. Because you already know what the protection is, and we don't want to keep putting energy there. So the main focus though is that you are like in your own little bubble or eggshell or Strength card here, it really talks about the depths, the crevices, the cracks of strength. Within this artwork, there's, and I think I've brought this up before, but there's like 3 people like traveling together. The water, like the elements, all of it. It talks about reflection. A reflection of strength. Something about reflection in water, or the way that the waves can affect like the look of things underwater, like an underwater filter maybe. That's the protection. The protection is the playfulness. The protection is the horror. The protection is the bullshit. A lot of times people will say, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with it because it has nothing to do with me, or that's not my fault. And yes, that may be true, especially for things that are more distant to you. But does that create the environment that you want, that you need in the long run? I'm looking at this lion. And you know how like the Okinawan Shisa is like kind of like a lion, dragon, dog thing, protector. I think I encountered one in real life recently. And that's what happens when you go exploring outside in the dark. I didn't know if I was in trouble or not. I just felt its presence, and the way that I see spirits, you can tell my eyes are moving, I'm not confident. The way that I see spirits is usually energetically. Rarely I'll see like a shadow or this or that, but I don't see things like full on clear. I see things energetically. And so through the energy, it can create like a picture in my head. And so if I can see and I'm present and I'm grounded in this reality and I feel an energy, it's not that I'll see it. It's not a hallucination. It's almost like a vision. Like you feel it kind of like in the distance. You can kind of like see it in your mind, but it's not physically manifested in front of you. Does that make sense? And so it's always scary. It's always scary, especially when they have a very detailed mask or face. Some of these entities do appear to me masked. 20% battery remaining. Whenever that pops up, I take it as like you're on the right path to creating something new, to creating something abundant. Like you're going the right way. 2020 vision type vibes, you know, like 2020 vision. And we're just talking about visions. I didn't know if I was in trouble with the spirit. I wasn't doing anything like bad, but I definitely wasn't aware that it was gonna be over there. It was like it makes sense, but at the same time it's like, and it was an intense energy, and it did feel like it followed me a little bit. And in doing that, though, I got to like get a little more familiar with it. It wasn't trying to harm me or anything, as far as I know. When that happens, I will like bow before I leave wherever I went, as like a I see you, and also an oopsie sorry if necessary. You know when someone is connected to their ancestors, you know when someone is connected to their roots, you know when someone is connected to a higher power, when they can police themselves, when they can coach themselves. Because to be gentle, to be nice to yourself means that you experience some stuff with the ancestors. It means you guys experience stuff together. That's where the protection and the strength comes from. Having the strength to listen to the signs, to the energy, your emotions, whatever is telling you something. If something is pulling you or pushing you a certain direction and you're like, I need to listen to this, that is the true strength. Not needing to explain yourself, or knowing that something is gonna sound or look a certain way and still choosing to relay the message or share the message, tell somebody, knowing 444, knowing that they will misinterpret it or take it a certain way. Seeing the end result, seeing the purpose behind it, knowing you didn't mean anything by it, that's the strength. The strength is the inner knowing. They can fuel each other. Like, okay, if we're thinking about magnets and positive, negative, it might like repel or whatever. There's like certain interfaces and designs within us that kind of do negative, positive, but this right here is doable. To say that anybody is disconnected from their ancestors is disrespectful in itself. It insults their ancestors that you think that they wouldn't be able to reach. Womp womp. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If you think your ancestors are not powerful enough, look, there's a birdie. But you can only see it in the reflection of the mirror. This is where the free will comes into play. The unconditional love from the ancestors. This is the fork in the road, the crossroads. Combine the two, whatever that would look like for you. You can follow traditions, you can follow your own structures and your own morals and your own beliefs, no matter what route you take. You're not disappointing your ancestors. by thriving off of capitalism and then feeding it back into the community. The goal is to not eradicate. The goal is to not genocide anybody or anything. You can choose what you want to do. The difficulty, the bird is back, the difficulty to thrive in a world where the wealth, the operations don't really align with you, don't resonate with you. Seems like an endless loop. Everyone who says that, well, but I gotta look out for me and my family. That's how everyone at the top starts off. And yes, people donate to charities and this and that, but people always get left out. And one person can't save everyone. But if there are like a million billion of us, then why are people still getting left out? And this isn't just for the people who work and still are homeless, living out of their car, going to work. This isn't just about the people who choose their pets over comfortability. This isn't just about the people who want to live outside, outdoors, because of whatever reason it is, it's probably a bit of both, connecting to the nature and not being able to, not wanting to keep up with the bullshit money game. If we all, as consumers, could balance ourselves and have more and have consistent and open and vulnerable communication with our ancestors and the divine, gods, the skies, the birds, whatever, more of those healing, releasey, purification-y processes. A lot of people say fear God. A lot of people say fear God. Not realizing that to fear God is to fear yourself. If you would correct yourself, if you would express to yourself, if you would listen to yourself and love yourself, even when you know that you might be wrong. Or when you know that you're right, but to everyone else it's wrong. Not in the way of like hurting people or harming people or doing but in the way of, I see this hurt. Why is this still allowed? Why is this still welcome? Not in the sense of, if that is who you are, if that is what it is, then stay the fuck away from me. No. But in the sense of being able to understand. Being able to understand where someone is coming from. It's like comforting a friend that wants to fight. And you're not holding them back, but you're with them through it. 555. Sometimes just talking about it. You're not afraid of your friend. You're not afraid of yourself. You know what you would do. You know what you could do. Okay, Hammers? But it doesn't mean you have to go do it. And just releasing it and letting it out can be enough satisfaction to kind of move you forward towards the forgiveness, more peaceful approach, non-violence type thing. Something just popped into my mind, but I'm gonna pull a card with it so you guys know I'm not just trying to be insulting and hurtful, okay? So it's really important to just be aware of how you talk about foreign people and different types of like colonialism, capitalism, all that kind of stuff, whatever region you're in, okay? Because sometimes you could be insulting your own ancestors. Okay, the confirmation card is Knight of Cups. And so in this picture, he's like offering the cup, you know. Amalthea, the unicorn, is kind of right here. Offering, interesting. The ancestors have emotions too, right? Like the land, the skies, all of that. And if you wouldn't disrespect your ancestors' emotions, how could you disrespect anyone else's? What if we all looked at each other as ancestral? What if we all started to look at each other as rooted and grounded? And hear me out. I understand there's different levels to that. And I understand that you eventually, when you're hardcore, you do come back to like farming the land and like self-sustainable community, off-grid, homestead type stuff. I get it. This reading took a fucking turn. It took a turn. When communing, okay, damn. When communing with the greats, the sources, the divines, spiritually and physically, meaning human and non, the wisdom, heartbreak. Wisdom stems from heartbreak. And to have that strength to recognize that pain in the ancestors, because your ancestors won't always just tell you everything. Sometimes you pick it up. If you don't like how your ancestors are talking to you, you can bring it up to them. That's respect. I respect your story. I respect your pain. I respect that I even went through some of the same things in a similar way. But I believe, here's the protection. I believe that I can do it. I believe that things will be different. I believe that we can do it. Because if everyone's popping off like pop rocks at different times, reaching their boiling point at different times, all you gotta do is be patient. And yes, in those times you can focus on yourself because it can be difficult, right? To like be connecting with people, and then you're not always sure what's going on with them, but you can feel their energy. And when you stand in your light, your power, you bring that bountifulness to them, and it can replenish them. And there's times where it's scarce, where hope and faith and love is limited. How are you resourceful with that? How can you still offer a cup? You see the darkness as light as well, right? The sun can light up the water, the ocean, but so can the moon. To clarify, I'm not saying approach just anyone, any elder, any ancestor, anything, and then just like rip them apart. That's not what I'm trying to say. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not gonna tell you why, because I feel like I explain why all the time. Just be respectful. Just because just be respectful. When you're respectful, it's easier to work things out. Learning to identify the differences between punishments, guilt trip, fear-mongering, shaming, belittling. The difference between that and you. The difference between the labels and you. You're unlabeling yourself. You're ripping off all your labels. 5. Whoa. You're ripping off 5 labels. This is like the destiny, like, this is just heavy confirmation. Oh wait. This is the destiny card. The one card that like I left behind, I didn't see when I picked up the deck. This card symbolizes choice. It's up to you. It's up to all of us, because it can't just be one, to decide to remove or lessen purposeful guilt, shaming, belittling, punishment in the cycle of growth. Because if we get it from outside people, you're not going to want it from the people you trust. That will make you distrust them. It's like a Tetris game of trust, a tower game of trust. How tall? Like one of those games where like you had to like blurp and then like blurp and then blurp, and it like gets smaller to the top, and you're trying to like get the tower as high as it can. Or that Stitch, that yellow fricker fucking sandwich eating guy that like you play the game and you like build the sandwich as high as you can before it like topples over or whatever. And avoiding the ingredients that are like outdated or like you don't want in them or whatever. Like I think in the game it's like moldy stuff, but I'm not trying to say that, you know, you don't have to insult the things that are adjusting or changing because you once were or you once will be. It's a game, a chess game. A chess game of understanding? 244? I don't know. I don't play chess. I don't know how to play chess. Okay? Well, can we fertilize our roots or... That was an affirmative yes. Three of Wands. In this deck, it talks about holding too tight so you don't lose. That can be... That's for some type of ancestral communication. Modifying the structure possibly in some way, or developing some new method of communication that is more bubbly. A communication that's more present. Like, you can't control them, but you can ask, you can work with them. It does seem impossible sometimes. The overseer. Also, paintings, canvases, selling artwork may be significant to you or will be sometime soon. Please pour into your art. The appreciation it's not always meant to come from people. When you create, whether someone's watching over you or not, in the physical realm, the art that you create fuels the ancestors, fuels the spirits. You can travel with it. You can take it into the spiritual realm. You can take it to different dimensions. And for you to not think this has an impact, it doesn't matter. It does. It is up to you to find value in the awareness of that. To be an artist, to not be an artist, to be a leader, to be a follower, to be a helper, to be a professional, to be a novice, to be you. Yeah, I know I didn't say anything, but like, to be you, yeah, you know? To be you is to defend the castle, to defend the home, your palace, your temple. I used to, I don't want to say this, but I know it's gonna help prove a point. When I was younger, I used to always have like crushes on the villains. I used to always have crushes on the villains. I used to always see like the complexity, the intelligence, all that. When I was younger, I noticed that like the toughest, most crazy, reckless people had the most strength. When I was growing up, I saw the Three of Wands. The people of the Three of Wands get their cup knocked over again and again. And so what better way to repay those that came before you than to say, I see exactly what you were trying to do. And maybe it wasn't possible then. And maybe it won't be possible now. But to keep that torch, cup, what is this called? A spear. To take that and keep moving it forward so that by the time your spirit is crushed, another, what is the opposite of an elder? A younger, Two of Cups. They'll be able to lift you up. And that can just mean that somebody is more experienced in a category that you are not. You turn one cup into two. It doesn't matter if you have 2 cups, 1 cup, there's enough to share. There's enough to go around. And in order to keep that alive, in order to keep that alive, you gotta experience heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak after rejection after rejection after rejection after abandonment, abandoning, all of it. So yeah, when you reach the top, your perspective's different. You handle the money, the power, the fortune, the wealth differently. In order to reach that point and be able to stay true to who you are and look out for the little peoples, the minorities, the underdogs, the abused, the confident, the free. Damn. Have that strength to kick out whatever residues of the pain in order to bring it to life, to keep it moving forward, to stay true, to keep the dream alive, to keep that spiritual, generational, ancestral, earthly wealth growing, thriving, prosperous. The strength it takes to forgive, to not give up, to continuously choose to keep healing, to keep offering, to keep open, until the sacrifices no longer feel like sacrifices. And that is divine love. Cause really, you guys, sometimes I'm over here like, I'm feeling it, I'm vibing it, I'm saying it, I'm doing it, but I'm just talking. Nah, what the fuck did I just say? And this ain't that other magnetic kind of tied together fucking tree and the dude. No, this Lover's card. Ow. Fuck. Nothing fucking makes sense. I don't give a fuck. Imagine it's like, oh, who is she? Is that the Grim Reaper? This is brown, by the way, but it probably looks black. Like, oh, look at her. She must like do witchcraft or something. And then it's like, oh, she's just like the rest of us. Oh my God, she's all covered up. She must be a woman of God. Ah, I still am though.